take me long, shorter, less than that. Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. I've been anxiously, I've been a very curious watcher of the evolution of NPS ever since it started. And last year's conclave, I was complaining about the failures. But what has happened in the last 1 year actually makes me fairly more optimistic about the possibilities. But still, it's about time. I just want to, I've been reminded of the brief time that we have. So I'll just get on to the specific points that I would like to put here. One is that NPS was created with some basic tenets, some basic principles in mind. One was that, those core features seems to have got abandoned in the process of execution or implementation or in course of time. The core feature when when the whole idea was being propagated or evolving, or the thought process was evolving, that original concept was to provide consumers a choice, the discretion. So there have been things which have been talked in past sessions that limited choice is good. Great choice creates confusion. But I'm not referring to that. The choice of asset allocation, creating the choice, giving customers the essential choice of where his money should be, or at least give a default plan and give investors a choice who want to exercise that choice. I think that choice, that somewhere, that important feature just fall by the wayside somewhere in the execution. The other thing was, originally there was more emphasis on equity investments throughout, which was the basic premise of it, and giving investors a choice. The fact that over a long period of time, gradual investment in equity can produce genuine wealth, and was integral to the concept. And over a period of 20, 30 years, gradual, regular investment, equity becomes risk-free. It's something which was core at that point. And this has been almost forgotten. And we have gone back to being driven by the traditional fear of the stock market that has characterized the official thinking. In fact, I was just thinking aloud about what minister was saying in the morning. And his father was part of the standing committee, which in the final stages of finalization of the structure of the NPS for government employees, which restricted this, that everybody wanted a guaranteed return plan within NPS. And that is how the government plan was somehow, they were persuaded to adopt that or, pretend to be one. Then a lot has been talked in the earlier session about the marketing and how to democratize it or how to, enhance the coverage. This has been it is being talked politely that it has been the weakest point. I think somewhere in the, we should not be losing sight of what this stands for. There is a key character of this product which should not be compromised. And from that standpoint, I think, this NPS, the format in which it has come about now, in the evolution in the last 4 or 5 years, we should clearly look at NPS in four formats. One is for the government employee, where the market expansion strategy needed is fairly straightforward. It's there, it's mandatory, and done. I think all that needs to be done is a little bit of work in terms of giving customers giving participants a choice who wants to exercise a choice, otherwise. So, we need to reality. This is a disconnect. Great appreciation, lot less on the ground. Educated, knowledgeable, formally self-employed people, which they exercise. For that, the awareness building, the taxation-based buying incentives, creating the that I think we don't need much work here because glitch in the process, if it is cleared, I think it will find its own taker. This product, which was devised as a pull product or initially thought to be one, will have the pull because it has the variables. I see it this year itself. The ATCC D1 is doing the job to some extent. I think there has been a problem in the way you have the process has been Aadhaar-based, which was scuttled and then moved to the bank, which is not complete yet. So I think by next year, we will have a reasonable understanding of how it is evolving, and not ambiguity, but the expectation that the tax treatment should be on par with all other comparable options is very much expected. I don't know what the roadmap is, or what government has in mind for that. For the Atal Pension Yojana, which I think is a revolutionary thing, for the less knowledgeable, poor, self-employed, or employed in the unorganized sector, this is something about which a lot has been talked about, and I don't think I have any great thoughts on this, except that, but I was greatly impressed by, that particular expression that you used in the morning, which is soft compulsion. What it could be, I'll be very curious and looking forward to knowing that. Another point which comes to my mind is that, we keep talking about incentive, and, there have been different ways in which incentive can be devised, and incentive definitely plays a role. Incentive works. Incentive is a great influencer, but limited role for enhancing selling incentives, because, the core character of a low-cost service provider or a service, investment vehicle and a long-term investment vehicle, there is a limited role, and that can be a big compromise. And the marketplace is currently structured in a manner where you can't compete. If somebody has the choice of exercising, if an intermediary has a choice of swinging money in one direction or the other, you don't stand the NPS doesn't stand a chance anyway. So it's a thought which is worth thinking, that is it worth spending any meaningful time on? Unfair taxation. Initial years, it was a lot of, ambiguous or perceived to be ambiguous, but no, it's unfair taxation. NPS simply must must get equal treatment to its alternative. Otherwise, it's a non-starter for that discretionary section. And, the PFRDA having these 4 segments being treated differently, different strategy. Look at it in a slight, PFRDA being a regulator besides manager of this scheme. And so looking at these 4 prospective market segments independently, individually, and treating them differently, with the core very nicely in place and reasonably evolved, and I don't think we have anything replicable in future or anything matching there. So that's all that I have to say. Thank you.